Rowan, the government, well, they had a bit of a breakout this week. Modern Liberals, they call themselves, which is really wet Liberals or moderate Liberals, led by Dave Sharma. In this instance, they don't just want net zero by 2050, they want a mid-term target. He was talking about 2035, so there's a steeper climb in the next couple of years as opposed to a slower lift out to 2050. The PM said this was always going to be something that was costed. We'd know what it would mean to the Australian economy. Josh Frydenberg is the Treasurer. He was pushing it pretty hard today. I haven't seen what it's going to cost. I haven't seen any policy announcement, any sort of detail. It feels like they're racing towards Glasgow, Rowan, and we, the consumer, we, the Australian, have been left behind in terms of what's the impact on us?
Well, exactly. And it's interesting, isn't it, that all the MPs pushing this rubbish are in the wealthier electorates, because we know, and in fact, a British MP has come out this week and said that if you go to net zero in Britain, for example, you can only, within the next couple of decades, the only people who, for example, will be able to afford cars will be the very wealthiest people. The only people who will be able to afford holidays will be the very wealthiest people. And of course, it is the poor, the working classes, the hardworking families, even what we used to call the middle classes or the aspirational classes. They are the ones who will be hit the hardest. They will miss out on all the luxuries of life that we all take for granted, because net zero without nuclear energy just means one thing, means higher prices across the board and things being cancelled and things being removed from our lifestyle. It's absolutely insidious, really, the way that this is being pushed without the costs being made clear until it becomes a kind of fait accompli and it's too late, by which time we will just see, as they're seeing in Britain now, blackouts and so on, and a lowering of the standard of living of those at the bottom of the heap.
Yeah, and of course there hasn't been much wind in the UK, so there's been a massive spike in gas prices. I mean, it's just so telling. One follows the other. Well, you think you could tell them, but they're not really listening, are they? Friday panel, it would be a Friday panel, Prue, without an update on the Ginger and the Wind. Harry and Meghan, 3-day trip to New York, all the bells and whistles. They've gone out to the 9/11 memorial. It looks like they've got protection that's not been confirmed. They're staying at the Carlisle Hotel, where famously Princess Diana stayed many years ago. Do you think people are interested in them anymore? They wanted a private life. It doesn't seem very private anymore.
Oh, I don't think so. You know, when I look at these two, I think Harry is sort of like the extra in some sort of a performance by this woman. You know, she seems to be always acting, and it's a film or a play I don't want to look at anymore. You know, it's going to get really bad reviews. It's really quite sad, but it's all orchestrated. They're now, of course, looking to get on the vaccination wagon, equity vaccines, and look, I understand that. I think that's great, but do we need these two privileged this couple that really just is, I believe, just doing these things to validate themselves and to give themselves some publicity and place in the world? And it's really quite pathetic and vomitous, actually.
Yeah, look, and you've run PR companies. They've got to keep going out there to create value, don't they? They've got to go out there, remain relevant in order to get the next contract.
Well, that's the problem. You know, they probably run out of Oprah interviews for a while, so they're going to look for opportunities to, attach themselves and as you say, validate or give themselves some sort of an opportunity to make some more money out of. Let's face it, it's all about making bucks as well as, getting themselves some sort of PR opportunity, and it's really sad. They're just a couple of opportunists. It's really sad to see.
All right.